All right, so last night, Donald Trump had a full-blown meltdown after he got torched by California Governor Gavin Newsom in a new interview he did with MSNBC. They talked about everything going on in Los Angeles, and Gavin Newsom slammed Trump for his involvement by sending in the National Guard. And I'd say that in this interview, this is the angriest I've ever seen Gavin Newsom, and that's probably what caused Donald Trump to go on his little social media rampage. But I want to start here with this clip, which might have set Donald Trump off. Gavin Newsom was asked what his message is for Donald Trump, and he looked directly into the camera and delivered it to him. Have a look. It's great.
I have a feeling there's a pretty good chance that in the White House there might be a television on and he might be watching us
I hope so.
right now.
Yeah, he can learn something.
What might you say to him if I'll give you the floor, you have the opportunity, what you weren't able to say to him on that phone call or calls that he hasn't taken today?
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
Amazing. Just an amazing statement, an amazing message from Gavin Newsom. Again, you can see how frustrated he is with everything taking place in LA. And it's not his fault. It's not anybody in California's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. I mean, just the other day, Gavin Newsom responded to Donald Trump and his request or his demand to send 2,000 National Guardsmen into Los Angeles. And in the second paragraph, he said, LA authorities are able to access law enforcement assistance at a moment's notice. We are in close coordination with the city and the county, and there's currently no unmet need. So at this time, protests were peaceful. Overwhelmingly, 99.9% of protests were peaceful. There was no need for the National Guard, and every single demand by law enforcement was being met. But then Donald Trump sent in the National Guard, and things got worse as a result. Now the LAPD chief is saying that things have gotten out of control when asked if the National Guard is needed. And Gavin Newsom responded to that tweet by saying, let's get this straight. This is the cycle of Donald Trump. Number one, local law enforcement didn't need help. Number two, Trump sent troops anyway to manufacture chaos and violence. Number three, Trump succeeded. And now number four, things are destabilized and we need to send in more law enforcement just to clean up Trump's mess. So if Donald Trump would have never sent in the National Guard, we would not be in this position. Things only got inflamed once he escalated the situation. And that's why when Gavin Newsom says you're creating the conditions you claim you're solving, he's absolutely right. Donald Trump created the crisis, the chaos, and now he claims he's solving it. If Trump would have never did what he did, we wouldn't be in this position. It's the cycle of Trump. He creates a crisis, he creates chaos, and then he takes credit for solving his own mess. It's the exact same thing that he does with his tariffs. When he puts a bunch of tariffs on countries and then they come off, he claims that as a win. But as I said, Donald Trump was melting down as this interview was going on, and you can just look at his Truth Social page. At around the same time that Gavin Newsom was being interviewed, he posts this: Governor Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bash should apologize to the people of Los Angeles for the absolutely horrible job that they have done, and this now includes the ongoing LA riots. These are not protesters, they are troublemakers and insurrectionists. Remember, no mask. It's just interesting that he's calling them insurrectionists now. He says that January 6th was peaceful and those were patriots and a day of love, but then when people are protesting because they don't want their neighbors, their friends, their families, their loved ones to be detained by ICE, then Donald Trump calls it an insurrection. That was around the same time that Gavin Newsom had his interview, and then he just put out this post saying paid insurrectionists. But then later in the night, it seems like it really hit him, and he then started to call for the troops to be sent into Los Angeles. Saying the LAPD chief said we have to reassess the situation as it pertains to bringing in the troops. He should right now. Don't let these thugs get away with this. Make America great again. And then he doubled down on this later, saying looking really bad in LA, bringing the troops, and also arrest the people in face masks now. So it seems like this Gavin Newsom interview where he directly called out Donald Trump really got under his skin. But I want to show you some more clips from this interview that, in my view, probably led to Donald Trump's spiral. this clip in particular, I think is fantastic, where California Governor Gavin Newsom was asked about Donald Trump threatening to arrest him, and border czar Tom Homan threatening to arrest him. Trump said at a press conference about California officials, if they stand in the way of law and order, they will face charges. Tom Homan said something similar, and Gavin Newsom responded directly to their threats, and I think his response is just so fantastic. Have a look.
Homan, the border czar, said to me yesterday he did not rule out literally arresting you, nor Mayor Bass, if you interfere in his work. He said you hadn't yet.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. But you know what? Let your hands off 4-year-old girls that are trying to get educated. Let your hands off these poor people who are just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
Man, I love that response from Gavin Newsom. It's so direct, right at the Trump administration. And look, I know that people in the Democratic Party have their differences with Gavin Newsom. Some people like him, some people don't, some people agree with him, some people don't. But there's no denying that this guy's a fighter. He is fighting right now for the people that he represents against the Trump administration, which do so much wrong and make his life and the people of California's lives and all Americans' lives so much harder. I think this is the kind of resistance and pushback we've been waiting to see from Democrats saying, hey, why don't you take me on? Why don't you, instead of targeting these little children who are trying to go to school, instead of targeting these families who are just trying to get by, work a job here in the United States, build a better life for themselves, why don't you come for me? Why don't you arrest me? And by the way, if the Trump administration decides to arrest Gavin Newsom or Mayor Bass or any of these California officials, it will go incredibly badly for them. It will be a national embarrassment. So if the Trump administration wants something to backfire on them, why don't they pursue charges against Gavin Newsom? That'll go real well for them. Now, the final clip I want to show you is Gavin Newsom accurately pointing out what's going on here. Donald Trump is not engaging in immigration enforcement. He's engaging in attempting to be a dictator. Have a look.
All of this is about immigration enforcement and the type of well, go ahead, feel free to
No,
speak.
I mean, I know, and I don't mean even to cut you off. I think it's about something much more. This is about authoritarian tendencies. This is about command and control. This is about power. This is about ego. My way or the highway. This is a consistent pattern of practice, of recklessness. This guy has abandoned the core principles of this great democracy. He's threatening to go after judges he disagrees with, cut off funding to institutions of higher learning. He's on a cultural binge. He's rewriting history, censoring historical facts. I mean, this is something completely different. And this is part of that ongoing play that is unfolding in front of our eyes. It is a serious moment under the guise of immigration, but it's much deeper than that.
I couldn't agree more. Let's just be abundantly clear about what we're seeing in Los Angeles right now. What Donald Trump is doing with ICE has nothing to do with immigration enforcement. It has everything to do with Donald Trump fulfilling his little pet dream of being a dictator. That's all it is. That's all it is. There's no regard for the rule of law. There's no regard for judges. There's no regard for how this affects people's lives. This is just Donald Trump trying to fulfill his dream of being like Putin or Kim Jong-un or whatever dictator that's active around the world right now. That's all he wants. And you can see it in his practices, the way that ICE is conducting themselves, the way that Donald Trump is conducting himself. I agree with Gavin Newsom that this has nothing to do with immigration enforcement and everything to do with Donald Trump being a wannabe dictator. So look, I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to show you these clips of Gavin Newsom's interview. And of course, Donald Trump melting down in real time, almost exactly while this interview was taking place. And of course, shortly after as well. But I'll leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes an incredibly long way. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about this story. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.